Well, hello, everybody. Blessed be coming to you live from the Philippines. It's been a while since I did a live video. I'm out on the deck on patio today, and my happy place during COVID, and just wanted to get on here and send blow kisses to my kids and my grandkids, and let them know we're all doing fine. And life goes on with COVID. Right now, we're presently in quarantine somewhat. You can go out, but if you do, you have to wear your face shield and your mask, and social distancing, of course. But I think me and Lord Tess have plans maybe to get out a little bit this weekend, and hopefully go to Esplanade and walk around for a while, and I can take some more photos, and get out of the house for a while, get out in some fresh air, and enjoy the Philippines again, like we used to on our date days. So anyway, that's our plans for this weekend. Plan on hitting the Esplanade, probably Esplanade 1, because it's the one I like the most, and has lots of pretty flowers and trees and scenery. So anyway, I just wanted to send love and kisses and hugs to my grandbabies and grandkids and my kids back home, and I wish you all well. Hope you're doing good and getting by as well with this damn COVID. It's like they say, this too will pass like gas. We just have to hang tough and hang in there best we can. It's a dog-eat-dog world we're in this day and age, for sure. 2020 came in with a bang, and it's still banging away at us. So every day's a new adventure, and so anyway, we're keeping our spirits high though, and live life. That's all we can do, is just live life and enjoy it, and find other ways to enjoy it. If you have certain restrictions, well, find other ways to enjoy it. I'm continuing to write my books, fiction and nonfiction books. I just finished up two nonfiction books on my hometown, Jacksonville, Illinois. And I also made another book, a nonfiction book, about 1225 Park Place, back in the 50s and 60s, where I grew up in our house on Park Place. And I shared some funny stories along the way, me and my family, and with Dad and Mom. And our next door neighbor, Mrs. Seymour, who had the battle of the hedge with my mom. There used to be this hedge, well, it's probably still there. I don't know if it is or not to this day, but there used to be a hedge that grew between, beside Mrs. Seymour's driveway, on our side of her driveway, next to our house. And it was Mom's pride and joy, this hedge. And she'd go out sometimes when the new growth come on, and she'd trim the hedge down to where she liked it, made it look real nice. Well, then after she'd go inside, Mrs. Seymour would come out with her trimming hedges on the opposite side of the hedge, and she'd trim her side lower, which made the hedge look lopsided. And this really pissed my mom off, as you can imagine. So she'd go back out and trim the other side down to match hers. And her and Mrs. Seymour would get into it, and they'd have their arguments back and forth about whose hedge it belonged to. Mom told Mrs. Seymour, "It's my hedge, keep your hands off of it." And Mrs. Seymour would say the same thing, it was her hedge. So Dad and Mr. Seymour, they just pretty much wanted to stay out of the fracas. But eventually Dad got to the point where it's getting on his nerves, so he went out one day with the hedge trimmers, this is a true story, and chopped that hedge down to about 6 inches off the ground. Came inside, told Mom, "There, now, no more problems with the hedge." And needless to say, that pissed Mrs. Seymour off, and Mom too a little bit. But so by the time it was all said and done, the hedge grew back up again, started to grow back taller again, and of course the battle of the hedge continued on until Dad finally called in a surveyor to come out and survey our property line, and to see once and for all whose hedge it belonged to. Well, funny end of the story was the hedge ended up being Mrs. Seymour, the hedges ended up being on our property. In fact, Mrs. Seymour's garage was sitting about 2 foot on our property as well. So it came down to Mrs. Seymour either acknowledged the fact the hedge was ours, or she was going to have to move her damn garage off our property line. Which, that pretty much settled the argument after that. Mrs. Seymour was upset, Mom was thrilled, and that was the end of the Battle of the Hedge, needless to say. But that's one of the funny memories I had in my book, 1225 Park Place, along with many others. And so, yeah, it's on Kindle now. I think it right now, once it gets on Kindle, it'll be price free for the time being on Kindle. You can probably download it for 0 zip and get it on your phone or your Kindle device if you have one, or your tablet. And I also have it on paperback, of course. All my paperbacks I've written here, with the exception of one, and that was Return to Rileyville, I think. Anyway, all my other books, I've got, well, this one I'm working on now, The Missing, I'm still working on it previously at this time. But once it's done, I'll have 19 books total, new books total I've written here in the Philippines since I've been here. And some are action, adventure, and fiction thrillers, and fiction, vampire fiction, all kinds of different fiction books I've written over the years being here and the months. And I also have nonfiction books. I've written some books about living here in the Philippines. Life and Love and Legends here in the Philippines is one of them. And then Living the Dream in the Philippines is the second book I came out with. And then Beauty of Panay Island was the third book I wrote about the Philippines here. And they're chock full all throughout the books. I've inserted my color nature photos I've taken of Esplanade, and including the nature photos I took back home in the U.S. as well. And I've inserted them in my books. Now, the 3 Philippine books, they have mostly just all Philippine pictures of the flowers and trees here, and where we've been, places we've gone, beaches, restaurants. So it's a nice book as well. So I think you'll enjoy the 3 Philippine books I've written. And then I've also got 3 nature books out I've written, and they're full color photos throughout of the flowers and trees I photographed back in the USA. And I made 3 books out of it. My Gary's Nature Book 1, 2, and 3 are on Amazon as well. And they've all got beautiful pictures of trees and flowers back in the U.S. And those are my nonfiction books I mentioned. And then I've got I got 2 vampire fiction books out right now on Amazon. And I've also got some other fiction horror books on there as well. So, yeah, you can find my books I've got listed, available on paperback or Kindle at Amazon.com. Just bring it up, and in the search, type in Gary E. Lewis with 2 R's in Gary. Gary E. Lewis, and click on it, and it'll bring my author's page up, and you'll see all my books I've written and my biography. And so, yeah, that's my hobby here: photography, nature photography, and writing. And I've managed to combine the 2 together now, and that's made it exciting for me, because I'm able to share my nature photos in my fiction books as well throughout, to bring realism to the storyline, and just a little added feature for enjoyment. And all my books I've written here, except for one, like I was going to say earlier, are all 8.5 by 11 size format books, and they're large font 14, so they're easy reading, and nice, comfortable size books that you can spread open on your lap and read. And anyway, that's my hobby here since I've been retired here in the Philippines. I've continued writing and nature photography. So anyway, just wanted to get on here today and let everybody know we're doing well, and I hope you are too. And blessed be to all my friends back home and to my families, all 3 of you. I have an India family. My daughter Jennifer married an Indian boy, a man from India, and he's presently living in the USA with her right now in Illinois. And then I have my family here in the Philippines, Laura Tessa's family, and her friends and cousins and aunts and uncles and fact, her mom comes and stays with us quite often, and our little niece Asia, they come here and stay quite often with me and Laura Tess and Yang Yang. Yang Yang, of course, is Laura Tess's older daughter, and she's presently taking online college courses upstairs in her room on her computer, and she's studying to be an architect, which is I think wonderful. And our other niece Dane, she's studying to be a nurse and going on to study to be a doctor. So yeah, it's really nice. The kids have got some good choices picked out for their majors in college, so I'm happy and thrilled for them and wish them much success in their life. And my daughter Jennifer back home, she just completed her college with McMurray College, and she's been taking psychology courses and counseling courses at McMurray College, and I think her dream is to become a counselor or a psychiatrist, I mean. And so anyway, and my daughter Mandy, she's a miracle. I tell you, she's got all kinds of hobbies, and she paints, she takes photographs, she gets into a little bit of everything, makes all kinds of cute little crafts and items. She has an online store where she sells her items. Everything from coffee cups with her pictures, her nature pictures on them, and takes lots of bird pictures, different bird pictures. And so she's got her little store going. And one of my sons, Thomas, he's now living in Chicago with his life mate, friend, and they're doing well in Chicago, Illinois. His name's Abe. And then my son, Greg, him and Heaven, they're living in Beardstown at the present time. And they've got little Gary, little Kevin, and Serenity, and they got little Ava, and they got another little baby girl coming soon. And so they're doing well as well, also, and I'm proud of them. And I think I got everybody: Mandy, Jennifer, yeah, and Greg and Thomas, and Terry Ann. Terry Ann, bless her heart, she's been working in the X-ray department in the office as an X-ray secretary. And sadly, she just recently got laid off because of COVID, because of slow business at the hospital. She was working at the same hospital I was. I worked there for 30 years in the housekeeping and engineering department over my 30 years. I finished up in the engineering department. I started in engineering, I believe it was in 1990, and stayed in engineering until I retired. I started in housekeeping in 1986 and was there for 4 years in housekeeping before transferring into engineering or maintenance. And I was a relief boiler operator, relief incinerator operator. I pushed snow outside with the plow trucks and shovel and snow blowers, cleaning off all the walks, parking areas, and sidewalks and steps and parking lots. And just did a little bit of everything out there, and mowed grass during the summertime. When I first got started in engineering, I spent most of my days with Jim Wells and Robert Wheatley. We'd be out in the yard mowing the grass on our John Deere tractors. And then Robert, he ended up transferring to the incinerator full time, and I took over his position with Jim in the yard, mowing the grass and taking care of the yard and the flower beds and stuff. And then eventually I moved into boiler room and became boiler room general maintenance and finished up there till I retired. That's a little bit about my history and my kids, what they're doing and how they're doing. They're all doing well. Jennifer, she has a daughter Haley and a son David James, and she also has a little boy. They just had a little boy, her and Miak, named Danik, and he's just cute as a button. Terry Ann, she has Chloe and Nina Bug, and she recently had twins, and Ivan and Veda, and they're just all dolls too. And Mandy, she's got Trinity, and Damien, her son Damien. I got so many grandkids, you gotta bear with me here. Remembering all the babies and the names and the and who belongs to who. I'm finding as I'm getting older, my memory's kind of so I got to kind of refresh my mind every once in a while to get all the memories in there and all the names and everything straight, so I don't leave anybody out. And then I think I mentioned Heaven and Greg's babies, their kids, and little Gary, my namesake, spelled with 2 R's like me, which tickles me to death, and little Ava and Serenity, and then they got another little, and Kevin, little Kevin. Oh, see, I got him. And then they got a new baby on the way as well. And as I said, my son Thomas is doing well and loving living in Chicago. He's got a job there, and his partner has a job there. His partner's a nurse, a male nurse, and they're just doing real well living in Chicago. And Thomas loves it. And they got a habitat or nature trails there that Thomas can walk down like we used to back in Jacksonville. So yeah, he's enjoying Chicago a lot, the Windy City. So anyway, I just wanted to hop on here and say a little bit about me and my kids back home. And of course, my wife Laura Tess here, she spoils me rotten, and she calls me her baby boy, and I think sometimes I am because I'm spoiled rotten. But anyway, we're doing good. Everybody's doing good here. And Mayank's family back in India is doing well. And they visit quite often with little Danik and Jennifer and Mayank on video chats and Messenger. And they got to come to the U.S. not too long ago and got to visit and stay with Jennifer and Mayank and little Danik for a while, which was a thrill to them. And they've returned to India now, of course, but I imagine someday in the future they'll be planning on another trip back, or Mayank and Danik and Jennifer may plan on taking a trip to India to visit them there. So anyway, I'm going to get off here for now. Yeah, my daughter Jennifer lived in India for over a year with Mayank, and then she came back here, and they got his visa and everything squared away, and then he come to the States to live with her there in the States. So yeah, all my kids and grandkids are doing well. They're all, of course, we're all, it's survival of the fittest in this world we're living in today, and everything's so damn expensive back in the U.S. That's why I came here, because on my retirement, I couldn't have made it. I would have had to continue working until I dropped dead, because it's so damn expensive back in the U.S. So I came here and was able to retire comfortably on my retirement, and we have everything we need. We have a nice house. We have all of our needs met, and we have a comfortable life here, and we're doing good. And I get to video chat, of course, with my kids and grandbabies, and on Messenger and video chat on Facebook. And so yeah, it's all good. So peace and love, everybody. This is Gary Lewis. I'm going to get off here now, signing out from the Philippines, the city of love, and just want to once more throw blow kisses at my kids and grandbabies back home, and I love you all. Me and Laura Tess love each and every one of you, and God bless and blessed be to all my friends back home. Bye-bye till next time. This is Gary Lewis in the Philippines, signing off.